Hey everyone, welcome to a draft recap edition of the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Dan Labbe with Mary Kay Cabot and Ashley Bastock. We are recording this at 4:40 on Sunday after a long weekend. I guess not as long as it could have been since the Browns didn't have a first round pick, but even without that, these are still very long weekends. So we're going to recap the Browns 2023 draft class just to run through it real quickly here before we get to our questions. Cedric Tillman, the pick at 74. Siaki Ika, the pick at 98. DeJuan Jones, 111. Isaiah McGuire, 126. Dorian Thompson-Robinson at 140. Cameron Mitchell at 142. And Luke Whippler at 202. Okay, our next topic here is the most head-scratching pick. And I guess I'll go first here because it seemed like the two of you were having a little trouble coming up with
I
this
had
one.
a guy.
I had a guy. Do you want me to go first, Ashley?
Yes, you go first, and I'm holding the paper of the guy who I was going to pick, and I'm curious if we have the same guy.
How exciting.
Yeah, so if we don't have the same guy, I won't say who it is, and then you can come to me. But I'm curious. Okay. I'll hold up the paper if it is the same guy.
So one of the reasons I go with like the phrase most head scratching as opposed to like least favorite or something like that is because it really has nothing to do with the player. We don't know what any of these players are going to be. But it has nothing to do with the player or anything like that. It's just, I'm still not entirely sure why you had to take Dorian Thompson-Robinson and why you had to do it at 140. I understand the explanations. Like they want to have, it's a developmental quarterback. It's a guy who kind of, he has a relationship with Deshaun Watson and you're building that room around Deshaun. But I still just feel like there's somebody there that could have contributed to this football team more than Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to over the next 4 to 5 years. 4 years, honestly. And, by the time he's a free agent, he's going to be 27, almost 28 years old. So like for him, he's going to be stuck as a backup now for 4 years. He's not going to be getting reps once the season starts. I just feel like there would have been a better use for that pick than adding another quarterback to that room. Because you have your quarterback, you have Deshaun Watson, and the only way Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to play a significant amount of time is if something bad happens to Deshaun Watson. And your season's over if Deshaun Watson gets hurt. It doesn't matter who your backup quarterback is. So, Mary Kay, you have explained this pick. I don't know that you would agree with me on this pick, but actually before I go to you though, I do want to know, Ashley, did you have the same person?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll wait. Mary Kay, I don't think you agree with me with this as a head scratching pick, at least based on what we talked about yesterday on the pod and what we've talked about, after the pick. But how do you feel about this pick 24-ish hours later?
You know what, Dan, I can see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I think you make really, really good points. But I do think that in my mind, it's not a head scratcher because I 100% I can see what they're doing here. They are taking Deshaun Watson and they are putting him on the pedestal that he sort of needs to be on right now. And they are doing everything that they possibly can to help him to be successful. And one of those things is to create an environment in the quarterback room where I called it yesterday, like his sanctuary, his refuge, where he has a place where he can trust the guys that he's with, where he can feel support in there, where he can feel camaraderie. There's already an instant friendship. He's already got that with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And I'm sure some people would think that the Browns perhaps are putting too much stock into this sort of thing, but I don't know that they are. I don't know, because I think Deshaun is in such a unique situation, more so than any other quarterback in the NFL, where he needs his environment to be correct. He needs things to be as calm as they can possibly be. There's a whole psychological aspect to this.
Okay, Ashley, the world wants to know. What paper did you pick up?
So I'm going to say I was influenced by listening to the podcast from yesterday, the segment with Doug, and hearing Doug talk about Luke Whippler. I am a little head scratchy on it now, in the sense that I don't mind building up offensive line depth. And I think even yesterday I talked about they got into trouble at center last year, right? So maybe recency bias has me a bit more like, okay, about this pick. But hearing Doug talk about him, the fact that he's undersized and the fact that he hasn't played guard in college, like I don't think that versatility is really there and the size isn't there. Again, I don't know. Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate bringing in offensive line depth, especially that late, and especially from a school like Ohio State. But I will say, just hearing that he's undersized and hearing that he hasn't really played guard and doesn't have that versatility on the interior, which again, like if you're undersized, playing guard in the NFL is tough. So I'm a little head scratchy about it now after listening to Doug talk to him, but I still like by no means hate it given where he was picked.
Mary Kay, did you have an answer for this one?
You know what? I have to say, I don't have an answer for this one, and I'll tell you why. Because what they did in this draft is almost everything I really thought that they should do. And I mean, one of the really good picks that we haven't